So today is May 29th, 2026. I have been unemployed since May 16th, 2025. My last role was at Thai Summit, pilot program for Stellantis through Thai Summit in Harper Woods, Michigan, but they're based out of Howell. It was for Stellantis and Chrysler, through as well as 3M company in Germany, foaming process of the coverings of BEV tops and Rep B aluminum and steel plates for all of Stellantis hybrid as well as EV vehicles. Long story short, 2 incidents occurred at that time period, 3 days before I got laid off. One, President Donald J. Trump had his Secret Service, a female Secret Service agent, as well as Brian from Secret Service, come visit my house in Detroit. Due to Canton, Michigan Police Department, whom I've had situations with when I was living out there for years, where I had to make 3 separate police reports against my ex-wife, CHRISTA and Ming's, her brother, Joseph Richard Mann, that lives in Indiana, doesn't have GED. He kept having welfare checks in my house. So I had police reports against him, 3 separate ones. Well, Secret Service came to see me and said, yeah, you said something about Trump's daughter. That's why Canton Police Department called us to come see you. So I was like, yeah, I did, on social media. Yeah. I hid the port codes at that time period when I was working at Livingston International back in 2021, based out of Canada. And it was the port codes of just mainly Honduras as well as Syria, before the Honduras president was extradited to America, doing deals with El Chapo, and put in prison in America. And the irony of that is Trump just let him out of prison and gave him a pardon in the beginning of this year, 2026. That's the irony of that. But I was let go. And then I was hired in December by another company in 2025, based out of Germany, as well, Munich, Germany, Life Couriers. I was going to be doing their facility here in Belleville, Michigan, Romulus, Michigan, of their nuclear medicine logistics for the nuclear medicine. They flew me out to St. Louis, Missouri. I was going to be there for 2 weeks of training. As soon as I land in St. Louis, Missouri, they did a background check. They said, Randell, there's a warrant out for your arrest. A PPO violation for Joseph Richard Mann in Indiana. Good old Mike Pence, who's up here in Michigan right now for the summit at Mackinac Island. The irony of that. But Mike Pence, Indiana, but Joseph Richard Mann in Indiana, not even from there. Doesn't have a GED either. And the company he works for is a basketball player that owns the company that played at Ball State University with me when I was in Ball State 2003 to 2005 before I transferred to Howard. That's the owner of the company. Well, Joseph Richard Mann said I violated PPO, where he had a PPO initially against me for messaging him on Facebook with my son. My ex-wife took my son down there. That's 5 years, well, at that time he was 3 years old, had his lip busted. And I was like, what the hell? Suppose he had an accident on the porch. Let me remind you, Joseph Richard Mann is Caucasian with no GED. So put 2 cents together there. But my son had an accident, so I'm texting him. He didn't respond and got a PPO against me. Now I already had 3 separate police reports against him in Canton, Michigan. So that's the irony of that. Gave the evidence to the judge. I recorded the whole court hearing too. Evidence to the judge. The judge said in the recording, your evidence is inadmissible. Didn't even look at it because I wasn't there. I'm like, okay, that's real cute. So later on, I found out there's a arrest warrant for me I didn't even know about. So Life Couriers flew me back from St. Louis the same day through Delta Airlines. I didn't have no problems going through TSA. Not to mention I have 5 security clearances. And I'll get into that in a minute. But lost that job immediately. And I've still been unemployed. It's May 29th, 2026. I'm still unemployed in the state of Michigan. And why I say that, the irony of that is, graduated from Howard University in Washington, D.C., bachelor's in business management and political science, graduated from Detroit Catholic Central, the premier high school in this state, won state championships in this state. Briefly serving the Michigan Army National Guard after college. That was my first security clearance. Then became a chemical process engineer technician in 2018 through the EPA. Then became a contract support accountant at US Ecology as well as PVS Chemicals. Then got a security clearance, my third security clearance, to US Customs and Border Protection as a custom clearance specialist through Livingston International. They paid for my CCS license through the NCB FAA in Silver Spring, Maryland. Then worked at Willow Run Airport. Got my security clearance through the FAA as well as the TSA, Federal Aviation Administration, as well as the TSA, to become an aircraft air charter logistics coordinator. Then did that for a year, then became a supply chain manager in Brighton for General Chemical Corporation. Then became subcontractor for General Motors Automotive Corporation through Renaissance Global Logistics. Congressman John James' father's company. The irony of that, he went to Brother Rice, I went to Catholic Central. He graduated probably 4 or 5 years after I graduated. I'm only 41 years old in 2026. On top of that, the irony is, I did all of General Motors battery cells shipments from Altium to Mexico, Saltillo, Mexico, Brownstown, Factory Zero, as well as what's the other one? I'm trying to think. Factory Zero in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Also, after that, that's when I got hired into Thai Summit. And they did a background check. So the warrant for my arrest was taken off immediately when I found out about it, when it flew me back. Had all these interviews, all these interviews, you're overqualified, or you know what, we wanted another choice. All these interviews, whether it's been Bass Chemicals, Chemical, Ryder, etc., DHL. I've had these interviews. Even Hyundai, Glovis Hyundai. And I just got to pay my bills. I got to pay my bills, And I applied for Instacart. Instacart does my security clearance background check. Now on the FBI radar, now on the government radar, I'm all clear. State of Michigan, Oakland County, Wayne County, I'm all clear. But pending is the misdemeanor, supposedly, for the PPO violation in Indiana. That has been going on for 6 months. Whether Michigan is refused, they had to set a probation for me. I have to do probation for messaging this guy on Facebook Messenger. That was a PPO violation. I live in Detroit. He lives in Crawfordsville, Indiana, which is about an hour away from Indianapolis. So about a 6 to 7 hour drive from Detroit. They tell me it's been 6 months and they still haven't been able to set up probation here in Michigan. So the misdemeanor is still pending on my background check. And that shouldn't prevent me from a job at all. But that's the dilemma I'm dealing with through the Trump years of anti-DEI, supposedly. I have nothing to do with DEI. I don't care if I'm Black and Native American. Dude, I have 5 security clearances, degrees, credentials, certifications. It doesn't equate. This is America in 2026. That's my 2 cents for today.